so small, Jordan. World Cup, brother.
What's the moon pulse about?
10. Man, this running's cool, but it's a bit soft now. They're going to be spent on Thursday. Far out. Hey, off the ball, if Luca can help with the press, yeah? So encourage him to get up. Don't get Matty Lee sitting in the...
Holding midfielder, yeah?
Well, the World Cup today has thrown up drama and intrigue to last a lifetime, but Sydney football fans have still got one little extra treat to round out the day's action. Midweek matchup in NPL New South Wales from Ernie Smith Reserve, and it is a tasty one at that in the context of the late season push for finals. SD Raiders welcoming Sydney FC to their home turf for the first time in their fledgling top flight campaign. We have had to wait a while for this one. It's been postponed since mid-May when the Sky Blues senior side was taking part in the A-League men's grand final. And perhaps that postponement a blessing in disguise of sorts, because it means that both of these two teams enter into this game in very solid form indeed. Just the one loss in the last five for both of these two sides. It is the fourth best form line equal in the competition at the present moment. Only Apia Marconi and the Sutherland Sharks can lay claim to a better figure of 10 points from the possible last 15, which both of these sides currently boast. Sydney FC making the trip to Meadowbank inside the top six, looking to leap higher into it tonight with 3 more points. They can go fifth ahead of the aforementioned Sutherland Sharks should they extract maximum value from this evening's fixture. While for SD Raiders, they are the side on the outside looking in, but looking good at the moment. 26 points so far this season. A win tonight in their game in hand will see them close to just 2 points away from the top six. A season that their head coach, Goran Luboja, would have been looking at as one for survival. Well, win tonight, and they could potentially be thinking about a final. It is an intriguing game in prospect here at Ernie Smith, which is underway now. Now to see if the on-paper billing lives up with the action on the pitch. You'll be able to hear the changes being read out by the PA system here at Ernie Smith, as well as a healthy downpour of rain on the stream as Raiders look to withstand an early dose of Sydney FC pressure. It is the same squad, bar one, for the SD Raiders from that come-from-behind 3-1 win here against St George City just a handful of days ago. Thomas Mako is the man who misses out. The rest of the squad is the same. Ethan Bevan has made his return from the red card he sustained against Sydney United. And there is big news in the starting 11 changes. William Lucas, the young keeper, has come in place of Michael Figuera for just the 5th appearance of his season, first since the 11th of April. And the rest of the 11 as follows is Cooper Hannigan, Jet McHugh-Shaw, Michael Marchich, James Leder, Luka Knezovic, Lockie McGrath, Matthew Lee, Marty Fernandez. And we'll pause at the rest of the 11 as France comes forward, tries to turn a shot towards goal, and it's easy pickings in the end for the restored to the starting lineup tonight. William Lucas, Charlie Ragg, and Robert Eramugo, the two remaining members of Goran Luboja's starting 11 tonight. There is Eramugo. A driven ball. That time from Charlie Ragg. It's not heavy, but it is steady rain here at Ernie Smith, so both sides will need to get a bit of a feel for the pitch in the recent rain that the turf has taken on. If you watch SD Raiders game against St George City, it wasn't just the rain they had to contend with. The eerie fog rose out across the pitch in the second half. We'll see if that rears its ugly head in the second stanza. McHugh-Shaw drifts it wide to Ragg. That looked to have come off the hand of Marty Fernandez. No whistle from the referee, and play continues. Kevin Marshall-Witter guiding that out of play at the expense of a Raiders throw. McHugh-Shaw riding the challenge of Tay Headley. Early ball is turned behind by Tyler Williams, and SD Raiders will get themselves the first corner of the evening. does this midweek matchup throw a bit of fixture congestion up for the home side, with a couple of injuries to contend to that we'll touch on later, but they're going to have to get used to more midweek football. They've got Australia Cup action coming up shortly. In comes the corner. It's dipping low towards the front post, and it will be a repeat set piece for SD Raiders. Short option from Knezovic is ignored in the end. Sydney FC with heads first to the football, recycled by Knezovic. And Zavadinos able to watch it all the way, and he looks to set Mitch Glasson swiftly on his way. The Sky Blue captain on the move. He's shown a propensity to cut inside and shoot with devastating effect this season. Decided not to that time. And that's a trip to the turf for Marin France, which is awarded Sydney FC a set-piece situation of their own. And it's taken quickly too by the Sky Blues. Headley trying to make himself a nuisance. Just as swiftly as SD Raiders pick themselves up back-to-back corners. Sydney FC have taken back one of their own. Hasn't just been a long time in waiting for this initially round 15, or round 16 rather, fixture. Loop towards the back post. Glasson rises off the underside of the crossbar. The flag doesn't go up. The ball is still alive. SD Raiders rid the danger. Chance not dead for Sydney FC. Trying to connive their way back into the penalty box. And in the end, Marty Fernandez will launch it clear. Now that was a very closely run thing indeed. In fact, it was Ethan Dyer who rose at the back post to try and steer that home and into the goal of William Lucas. I reckon it might have taken a touch off Dyer onto the marker just ahead of him, into the underside of the crossbar. And the co-conspirators on the goal line for SD Raiders were able to do just about enough. But a very big scare survived early doors for the boys from Ernie Smith. Marshall Witter. Caelan Marshall-Witter a bit in disbelief as to how the free kick has managed to go against him, as he bore the brunt of the ball and the challenge against the turf. Knezovic. Midfielder dropping deep to try and pull the strings for SD. Fernandez. Hugh Shaw gets the call to relax from his teammates. Be interesting to see who takes the impetus of the football this season. SD Raiders have looked very impressive in transitional phases this season, and with the fleet-footed talents that Sydney FC have got, they're always good in those sort of situations as well. That was well won by Lockie McGrath. Rag. A cute little bending ball to pick out Lockie McGrath, who returns the favour for Rag. I'd love to put a full stop on the end of this move. It comes off the back of the willing target in the penalty area that was Michael Marcic. But a nice little spell for Goran Luboja's side. Oh, how good is that from Marty Fernandez? Absolutely brilliant from the live wire. And now Rag gets the eyes up. The corner will be coming for SD Raiders. Good fleet-footed defending from Tyler Williams to turn it away from danger. Even with so many scholarship players not in action for the Sky Blues at the moment, still a number who have tasted senior professional footballer, which Tyler Williams is one. Aramugo the option at the front post. Fernandez bring it down nicely. Rag. Good ball in from Rag. Zavadinos spills. His teammates able to get the job done in the end. Knezovic trying to fire it to the feet of Aramugo, just past the reach of the SD Raiders speedster. Just 2 goals so far for his new club since winning League One Player of the Year last season. Devastating goal record. That one's headed off at the pass by Knezovic. Tried to shift it across to Aramugo, who is able to get on the end of it anyway. Marcic laid back down. And will it drop here for SD Raiders? Not quite. They've managed to keep it alive. Lee. Early ball touched out of danger. And pressure relieved for the Sky Blues. The Sydney FC side who, in addition to being in very good form, 4 games undefeated, it's not just the win-draw loss that raises the eyebrows, it's the scalps that they've taken along that stretch. 1-0 win against Sydney United last week. Rockdale, courtesy of Zach Fowler off the bench. That's a nice ball over the top. Rag will nearly get there ahead of Zavadinos. It's a game of fine margins at the moment. A couple of crucial touches like that just past the reach of Raiders attackers. The difference between a level scoreline and not. Sydney FC have experienced that. As their header cleared off the line from Ethan Dyer is as close as either side have come. In addition to that Sydney United win, 3-2 win against the Wollongong Wolves, who they're in a losing rut at the moment, but they were one of the mid-season pace setters, and a goalless draw against the ladder-leading Marconi Stallions. Nothing to sniff at for Jimmy Van Weeren's side whatsoever. Handy pressing work that time for Mitch Glasson. 8 for the season for the 20-year-old academy captain. Of course, the first of which came in the opening game of the season against SD Raiders. Hoping for a similar sort of goal fest tonight. The Sky Blues emerging 3-2 victors, courtesy of a cracking goal off the bench in a handful of seconds from Nick Alfaro. Under a minute off the bench to goal for the teenage talent that particular evening. Jared Middleton launching up the line. It's congested over on the far side. Glasson upended violently by Matthew Lee. No whistle materialises despite the protestations of Sydney FC. There will be drama if there's a goal for SD Raiders at the end of this. And Rag tried to cut inside. The shot from distance is bouncing wide of goal.
Put your left foot through it.
That would have been a controversial one. Had that bulged the back of the net, and from a Raiders perspective, Charlie Rag trying to get that ball back onto the right-hand side. Might have been a situation in which he'd taken a different approach had he known what was coming. Continues to be a game of maybe moments in attack for SD Raiders. And now Glasson is upended again, and this time the referee is going to whistle in favour of the visitors. Launched over the top for Marin France. Marshall Witter. That's a delicate little ball looking for the enterprising run of Tay Headley. Farias. Lee. Rag does well to get that ball in play. Knezovic was a very cool customer in possession. Led up. Shifting it out wide. There's a promising build-up to this one for the Raiders. The run forward is flicked towards goal. But the offside flag is up to deny Robert Aramugo a fancy flick. His third of the season and an opening goal of the evening's action. But it was very easy on the eye indeed in its construction. Top-notch run from Cooper Hannigan down the right flank. And Aramugo, well, luckily for him, his body was facing the assistant referee, so he saw the flag come up straight away, because if he'd had his back to the lino, he might have been caught celebrating what was otherwise a very good goal. Farias. Headley. Lockie Middleton to Farias. Marshall White sticking it over the top and in behind for Glasson. Lucas, the young keeper, was first to the football, but even if he wasn't, he was going to be bailed out by the flag of the assistant referee. Just the one goal in 6 for Mitch Glasson. Looking to pick up some of that early season form that saw him score a fair few in the opening rounds of the season. 3 of his 8 for the year have come against NWS Spirit. That one picked off by Marty Fernandez. He feints wonderfully. Fernandez. Sydney FC with bodies in the way. Not much in the way of clear-cut goal-scoring chances in the opening 18 minutes of this fixture, but plenty of energy to suggest that that sort of thing could be on the way. Two sides who haven't exactly beaten down the door in terms of goal scoring this season, comfortably mid-table in that figure with 29 scored each. Aramugo, one-on-one with his defender. And it's Tyler Williams who does very well, at least it looked in first glance. But his defensive due diligence performed at the expense of a free kick for SD Raiders. Charlie Ragg has been a good chance to be a scorer tonight. Can he turn provider for SD Raiders? Flicked on nicely, but the runner not able to follow it in, and it's nice and easy for Alex Avadinos in the end.
Watch inside, man. Watch inside,
Farias scored the first goal of the season in 2026 when these two met at the Illingdon Sports Centre. It was a long time ago, the season opener now. Just 2 months left to go in season 2026, would you believe? That one out of play by Lockie Middleton. I do have to specify on first name basis for that surname today. Lockie playing alongside his towering twin Jared Middleton, you'll see on the left hand side of the Sky Blue defence. Ragg. Really nice pass to find Michael Marcic, who isn't able to conjure the same over on the right hand side. Lancaster, Headley, Marshall Witter. It's a nice run being made on the inside by Samuel Lancaster. He's ignored until now. Headley. Sydney happy to be patient with their play. This has been the way under Jimmy Van Wieren for a while now. Farias. He just got himself into trouble. Knezovic gets the eyes up with enterprising runners left and right. He finds the burst of Cooper Hannigan. And Zavadinos got up, but if it always sailing away from goal, it's a promising flashpoint nonetheless for SD Raiders. We've been given a few bits and pieces of evidence this evening that the transitional route is going to provide them some potential joy in their efforts to score. And there's a bit of sorting out to do here.
Be brave, you guys can slide. The corner, if you take off, you got to get across quickly, yeah?
Alex Avadinos looked to have restarted play, but he did so when Robert Aramugo was in the box, believing that Sky Blues had already gotten the ball moving. We are back underway now. Much to the chagrin of SD Raiders coaching staff. Referee voices against them. A risky ball right down the guts, but it's made to look very good by Marin France. Pushed out to Middleton, whose touch was laboured. And now Hannigan's on the move. Fernandez making his run inside. Knezovic, it's a top block by Jared Middleton. And Michael Marcic. There's a few less complaints around Ernie Smith at the concession of that one. Headley and James Leder going toe-to-toe. Sky Blues have picked the ball back up. Only for Tay Headley to dart his eyes across the field and see that pesky flag up against him. Seen plenty of it early as the 20-year-old Tay Headley, former Mariners youth product, on the hunt for goal number 4 of the season tonight. Here he is on the ball. Headley shifting it wide. Plenty of Sky Blue shirts in the box. None of them found. And Headley will keep it alive. And they find their way to an attacking opportunity. Glasson. Oh, Worth a pop. And you could see the wincing expression on his face because he knows that had he caught that slightly sweeter, especially bouncing towards a goalkeeper in a wet surface such as this, that can be a real potential point of profit. Poor pass from Knezovic, picked off by the opposite 10, Tay Headley. And the blush is spared wonderfully by Jed McHugh-Shaw. One for Middleton to chase down. He does too. It was all a little too easy through the SD Raiders defense that time. Lucky Middleton able to ghost through. Marshall Witter was harassed into a ball into a central area that Raiders are not quite able to pick off. Middleton. France. Managed to steal away with it. The odds were against him. Oh, Marshall Witter. Headley. The drive into vacant space. Finds himself stood up by Matthew Lee. Williams. The Sky Blues not able to find a breakthrough through the SD Raiders defense. It's been a vulnerable one this season, as you would generally expect in fairness of a team making their debut trip up to the top tier. 34 conceded this year, only Blacktown and Sydney Olympic have shipped more. They've kept most of their clean sheets this year. And Ernie Smith. Letter. Eramugo dropping off the shoulder of the defender nicely and played the pass to a run that wasn't there. So he's going to nearly pick up his own hard work. Or at least make it not a lost cause for SD. The Sydney FC players stopped. They thought a whistle was on the way for them. It wasn't. And it's SD Raiders who will have a free kick in a very interesting position. And McHugh-Shaw is the man who's pulled rank on Luka Knezovic. So pitch deliveries have been hit or miss tonight. What does McHugh-Shaw have to offer? Tipping dangerously, flicks on at the front post. No threats to the goal of Alex Avadinos. One back by Cooper Hannigan. The Raiders are going to try the opposite side. Lee. It's a bit of a stodgy ball for McHugh-Shaw. Mugo upended by Lockie Middleton. It'll be Luka Knezevic's turn this time. It's a floater in the Aramugo direction. It's going to drop down as well. And straight down the throats of Alex Haverdinos. And here come Sydney in the opposite direction. Could they turn insult into injury? No. It's a basketball game at the minute. Back one way, then the other. And now it's coming the opposite direction. Knezevic. It's into the trees behind the goal. Perhaps could have carried that a little further. SD Raiders' young midfield talent.
Let him go. Fitty.
Having resisted the temptation for quite some time, Haverdinos does finally launch it long. He's looking to be coming back in the opposite direction, but it's been that sort of game. Consistent spells of possession have been hard to come by.
Charlie, back boys, Charlie.
Ball swung into the box. Danger rid by the Raiders. I'm sure when he watches the replay back, Goran Luboya will be just as aghast as they were at Raiders coaching staff in real time as to the lack of killer instinct on that earlier opportunity. That's a better ball over the top though. Fernandez has turned on the Jets. Haverdinos tracks back. Marty Fernandez. It's a top save from Haverdinos. The Sky Blues launch it away. It's a clean touch out of the night sky from Tay Headley. He deserved the chance to come away with the football from that one. That now is one of SD Raiders' best opportunities from the night, and it's a player that they would most have wanted it to fall for, their top scorer this season. Not to be an 8th of the year in NPL for Marty Fernandez. Ooh. That's a leg. It's going to be a free kick just outside the box for Sydney FC. Cooper Hannigan bringing down the thorn in the side that is Marin France. Mercurially talented Sky Blue attacker. In tandem with Tay Headley atop the set piece. And it's taken short. Marin France deflected shots is into the arms of Lucas. We remain as we started, goalless after half an hour's football, but that is looking increasingly a scoreline under threat at Ernie Smith Reserve. Both sides with a handful of very solid chances to open the scoring. And this game in hand that could mean so much to their respective hopes of a finals berth. Pretty open and shut case for the referee. Lancaster wide to Jared Middleton. Tasmanian Lancaster. He's been at Sydney FC for a handful of years now. Former South Hobart Juniors brother. Plays in the senior team for the Tasmanian ladder leaders. Headley. Jared Middleton on the overlap. Instead decided for the inner option of Marin France. Early ball in is a wicked delivery. The flicked-on header was wonderful too. And at full stretch, William Lucas is able to watch it whistle wide of his post. It was an so enterprising delivery on that Sydney FC left. Really nice flick on it looked from Lucky Middleton. And the chances continue to build as this game goes on. Scoreline continues to remain unchanged. Marshall Witter laid down by Glasson, not to the advantage of any teammates. Marcic steals away. McGrath. The overlap comes from Charlie Ragg. It stood up nicely, but Sydney FC have the answers. Ethan Dyer gets on the drive. Middleton returns it to the youngster. Headed off at the pass by Hannigan. Early ball. No man's land for his attacking teammates. And the pressure pays for SD Raiders. And playing out from the back goes giveth and taketh away from Sydney FC so far tonight. It's great when it works, but can be potentially disastrous when it does not. I mentioned earlier, SD Raiders enterprises in both the Waratah and soon-to-be Australia Cup. A trip to Queensland coming up to face Edgedale Rovers in 2 weeks' time. There'll be some young talents in this Sydney FC side who will want to put their best foot forward in the coming weeks. Press their case for a chance in the extended squad in the senior side's own Australia Cup campaign, which will start in WA against Bayswater City, the reigning champions over in Western Australia. Fernandez. He's already made the nutmeg work once tonight. Lightning did not strike twice. France. Ball was in move as he looked to catch out the SD Raiders defense and reward the run of Mitch Glasson. And that rain that greeted us at the start of kickoff is well and truly dissipated now. The slickness on the surface remains. Marshall Witter. Lancaster. France on the right-hand side now. Sends it in for Glasson. It'll sit instead for Headley. Jinking left and right. Tay Headley. The run continues. The ball into the middle. Headed away by the Raiders defence. It's a no-looker from Lockie Middleton to Jarrod. That is twin powers in full effect. Early ball in. Has no one home waiting. Not fully cleared though by Ragg. Farias stood up nicely by Charlie Ragg. Interesting that Sydney FC have elected to swap their wingers. France. Lancaster. Having a hard time finding openings for the cross. They might just now, but the delivery is well short of Marin France's best. That's the 3 goals so far this season from Aaron France. Finally got his first taste of football at the A-League level right before the start of the NPL season back in January against the Wellington Phoenix. Knezovic, winding ball in search of Marcic. Middleton. Kalen Marshall-Witter. France wants to pursue that inward area of the pitch. Wasn't quite allowed to do so. And that little touch off an SD Raiders shin will prevent any further passage for the moment. Here comes Middleton. Down goes Middleton. Free kick coming for Sydney FC. And there's 5 minutes of the first half with stoppage time to come remaining. Sydney FC are going to get a handy little look here at the potential to take a lead into the break. And mercifully, as distinct from the World Cup action we talked about off the top, it is just the one break. No hydration breaks in NPL New South Wales. Weather tonight, you just have to open your mouth. Headley bends it in. It's a ferocious delivery and a superb save to match from Lucas. It wouldn't have counted had it bulged to the back of the net. The offside flag up against Sydney FC's attackers, but that was a superb reaction save from the man who's back in the net for SD Raiders tonight, and William Lucas. There's Mitchell Glasson, who had that side foot effort towards the Raiders net. Fernandez. Aramugo returned to his footing further afield to receive, did little more. Very fascinating fixture. This one, should it end as it is now, both sides will go into the break feeling very strongly like they've mounted a good case to be in the lead. Sydney playing with their foot a little bit here in defence as Aramugo looks to up the pressure. That's a decent ball, and Rag has it just glance off the top of the head. Fernandez picking up the pieces, backing himself to go it alone. Marty Fernandez, was he held back? That is the question SD Raiders are asking. No whistle arrives. Sydney FC cantering swiftly in the opposite direction. Glasson. Lancaster. Oh, it's the run from Middleton. Lancaster once more. Delicate sequence with Headley. The Raiders have not made crossing opportunities on this right flank easy for Sydney FC. That one just zips its way past the toes of Tay Headley. Still time enough in this first half for either side to break the deadlock before the break. Transfers from twin to twin. Lockie to Jared. And now Lancaster. Williams picks a nice little gap. Farias getting the eyes up. Not quite threading the needle. A half of maybe moments for both sides so far. The Raiders coaching staff just lamenting a slight misread in the press. Could it present a big opportunity here? Not quite.
Stay ready.
Larson lost his footing at the crucial moment. Hannigan measures the early delivery. Marcic, a touch to free his feet for a corner winning effort. They have cycled through the set piece takers so far this evening, but the boots of Jet McHugh-Shaw trusted on the right hand side again.
45 now.
Getting set to step in to added time at Ernie Smith. Is there an opener for us here? Zavadinos. That was awkward. It was uncomfortable. 1 minute of additional time added on to what's been a fascinating, but in scoring terms fruitless, first 45. The referee has just got a bit of sorting out to do in front of Alex Zavadinos. His goalkeeper fouls have been a hot topic today in world football. Here comes the corner delivery. Double fist away again by Zavadinos. SD Raiders with a hat-trick of set pieces. In a very swift succession indeed. And apologies to any German football fans who might have been upset by my reference to goalkeeper fouls earlier. Is it third time's the charm for SD Raiders? The answer is no. It's going to be 4 on the spin. And Knezvic presents short and receives. McHugh-Shaw, urged to deliver, does deliver. Marcic tipped away wonderfully by Zavadinos. And what's a way to end the opening 45 here at Ernie Smith. It is goalless between SD Raiders and Sydney FC. But most of those watching on will be wondering how chances of high value for either side littered across this half that has threatened but is yet to deliver in goal scoring terms. All sorts of stuff to play for in the second 45 that awaits for these two finals chasing teams. Don't go anywhere. It is a big second 45 to come from Ernie Smith Reserve. But here at halftime, his score is as we started. SD Raiders 0, Sydney FC 0.
It's my work laptop as well, so if this one is buggered, I'm really in trouble.
Back to Sinnott. Sinnott had to be alert. And now Sinnott could be a loose touch. Shoiki might have pressured him, and now is a chance. And there's the goal for Danny Choi. Shoiki deserves a lot of credit for the pressure there. That's a great ball by Olsen to Choi. He's away here. Danny Choi tucks it away and double Sutherland's lead. What a ball from Nicholas Olsen. Choi definitely onside. Time to run perfect. Might have lost out here. And there's three forwards. Play through to Olsen, left side of the box. He has support in the middle. Rolls it across. Shots there. And it's 3-0. So it's going to be 3 goals and 3 points for Sutherland Sharks.
That's at George City. Harry McCarthy's at Rockdale Lillenden, and Ben Cooper's on the bench tonight. But that's a good ball. Neuenhoff opens the scoring. Gorgeous bit of interplay down the left. The attack alive. Can he find the cutting pass? O'Shea close in attention. Pires' header sneaks in at the near post, and they do have a second.
Van der Sar, of a short run-up, is able to put it in the bottom left corner, and Rockdale have the opening goal. Really clever flick on from Elliott. Skatardis squares it, and now advancing is Speranza. A low shot parried into the path of Chalakian, and Rockdale have scored twice. Here comes the free kick from Chalakian, and a glancing header is a good one, and Van der Sar has a double. To the right flank, Constable whips it in, and if the flag stays down, that is 4. And amidst the appeals from the Olympic defenders, Moody Najjar has a...
Curry with the left foot, floats the ball in towards the penalty spot. Tef is there, can't quite get it. Pedersen, shot, goal! A beautiful strike.
Rose looking for Nakano. Great touch from Nakano. Finds Krislovic. Leroy Jennings finds the bottom corner with what was probably his first touch of the game.
Zavadinos playing games with Yamamura, who calmly slots it into the left of the goal to give the Wolves the lead. Jared Middleton, and now here is Marion France. Makes a bit of space, and it's a good ball in. Solski gets a touch on it, but it's headed in. Scott, lovely pass. Mashivecchio's in, and that is a super finish. And the Wolves have re-established their lead. Touch. Blocked by Ken Izumi. Dax Kelly's clearance. It's still on here for Sydney. It's blocked. Tay Headley's there. And it is rammed into the goal. And a valuable 3 points it would be, with both looking towards the opportunity of finals football. And it is an absolute belter.
But they'll very much be hoping to get something out of this as they work a good angle here as it's pulled across the face and fired home. Blacktown draw first blood. Pass, it's Stewart again. Pulled back towards Ortiz, spins, shoots, scores! It's Presley Ortiz again. Helps it on towards Stewart. Swung in towards Cottestavo. And Jordan now looks to go through the gears. Good delivery from Rory Jordan. It's Ortiz!
Match the pressure they've had. Meyer, another ball, back post, and it's going to be an own goal. Not how UNSW wanted to defend it, and Mark.
So I missed. Oh, well, if you're going to catch the end of something, that's the one to catch the end. Taken. Lovely pass of English. Honestly, it's been nice and low floor. I thought the third match day with the tiebreakers being changed made some games a bit of a finish. Some of the other games were fantastic. I don't have a team anymore. I support a team that's I'm a Hearts fan. season, because my dad, and I have a few cousins who live there, so the season ticket holders, so I went to games. I didn't go to Celtic. We watched that in the pub, and I went to the event for 2 weeks, and I would say it was 13 the best days of my life, and then so that was I was a broken man.
I am going to Scotland.
Oh, really? First time?
First time.
Oh, enjoy it. Are you going to Edinburgh or just like what?
Yeah, no, we're flying to Edinburgh, Greece.
Yeah, nice. Hopefully you enjoy it. Every person who's either gone to Edinburgh with me, actually, I don't know if my dad from Australia. Every friend I've ever had who's been there was like, it's good.
Yeah, no, it looks really good.
Yeah, it's a very like, it's very like pretty city. It's like got a really cool layout to it.
That whole video.
Yeah. If as long as you can handle the cold and shit, it's getting too bad. No, then hopefully, and I hope you can do it because I've never done it. It's like A1 bucket list if you don't want to. So you're going to Greece, Scotland, where else?
tu Miki Robi. Miki Robi? Ja, kad je. Rani I Časlav. Kad hoćeš? 7-8 minuta često šali, 35 do kraja ubaci.
Welcome back to Ernie Smith Reserve. A tantalising midweek matchup in the quest for finals football between SD Raiders and Sydney FC, which has for 45 minutes threatened very staunchly to give us an opening goal of the game, but is yet to do so. A back and forth fixture so far that's been a good watch for the neutral, maybe a slightly nervier one for those of an SD and Sydney FC persuasion. Both sides have had major chances to open the scoring in amongst the inclement weather in Sydney South, but as yet, neither side have been able to trouble the scorer's sheet. Sydney FC going closest with a side-footed effort from Mitch Glasson right before the break. And the header cleared off the line from Ethan Dyer inside the opening 15 minutes. It is time for these two teams to turn all of their attacking promise into tangible results. It's a valuable 3 points on the line. Sydney FC, should they win, will leapfrog Sutherland Sharks into 5th spot on the table. SD Raiders will close the gap to the top 6 to just 2 points. 9 games left to go in the season. They would be well in the hunt for a finals berth that few, maybe outside Ernie Smith, would have foreseen in their fledgling year of top flight football. It is a game so far that I fancy both sides would have gone into the sheds at the break feeling like they should have been the team who was in front at the interval. In truth and in fairness, wasn't a game that favoured either side. It really did ebb and flow. Both sides had their moments. And we'll see more of those in the second half. Eramugo. Muscled off it all too easily by Tyler Williams. And that did not look good from this vantage point. Now in France, going down, clutching straight at the knee as he took the trip to the turf. Coming together with Raiders captain James Leder. And there's a bit of concern here for Marin France because it didn't look good on first glance. The yell that rang out across the field at Ernie Smith told a concerning story in the replay. Doesn't provide much more hope. The hand went straight to that left knee, which is currently being inspected by the Sky Blue physio. Marin France, not the talent Jimmy Van Wieren would want to lose. Back up off to his feet and walking around pretty comfortably though, so that these are promising signs, but you do always get a little nervous when you see players catch their feet in the turf and go down clutching at their knee. Relieving signs here. Well, it looks as though Marin France is going to be all good to continue. And indeed he is. That is a weight off the shoulders. So when you see players go down as he did, those ones can be devastating. Glasson was offside. Calls were coming swiftly and intently and with expectation from SD Raiders coaching staff. So it's a second half that has started here at Ernie Smith, not dissimilar to the first. Plenty of zip, but not many major chances. Headed away by Letter. The second ball will be one that is opportune for his teammates, albeit only momentarily. Glasson gliding through. Mitch Glasson heads to the deck. It's a swift denial from the referee. Lancaster, France, back in full flow. His retention of the ball was fortuitous up to that point. The weight of numbers did eventually tell for SD. Second phase, well handled by Knezovic. Opportunity beckons for SD Raiders. Robert Iramugo warms the palms of Alex Avadinos. Can't do much more than that. Oh, that's a poor turnover. Knezovic wanted to wind up for that fifth goal of the year for the former Wanderers talent. Well, I say Wanderers talent. He spent a season and a half in Western Sydney, but he is an SD Raiders junior who was repatriated last year, coming back in the mid-season window to help with their promotion push in League One. Ultimately sealed out at Lisseroe against the Mariners last season. Iramugo is being urged by his players to turn on the Jets, but perhaps he knew that he was in an offside position. Told on himself a fraction there. So hot football, well handled by Farias. Jared Middleton on the march. Now in France. Again draws firm and unrelenting contact from SD Raiders that they felt was legal. The referee felt otherwise. Lockie McGrath. Who must content himself with a brief objection, a little more reward, especially if Sydney are to score from this set piece.
There's a back post.
Bit of a pump fake there from Tay Headley. Now for the real deal. Taken short to Marin France, taken off his toes. And it all comes to naught for the Sky Blues. Middleton always looked favoured with his towering frame in the air, and indeed his vertical gifts count. Surprising switch of play though for Charlie Ragg. Ragg checks inside. Oh. And it's a corner coming. How good is that from Zavadinos? Just to work that one away from danger. Would have caught the change of angle, rebounding off the grass pretty late. Decent drive from Charlie Ragg. Set-piece situations have had more misses than hits so far for both sides. Is this the moment at which that changes? No. A confident punch away by Zavadinos. Scored since the 2nd of May. Charlie Ragg against Apia. Jet McHugh-Shaw is not going to be the one to change this goalless figure this time around. William Lucas. Now to Cooper Hannigan. Say well-intentioned, but ultimately inaccurate. Handball further forward. Aramugo. Nice lay down for Knezovic. Fernandez. Couldn't show a clean pair of heels to Ethan Dyer. The young Kiwi Youth International has undone all of his good work. Knezovic. Fernandez. Such a clever customer in these situations. He becomes the latest victim of football's commentator's curse. Though Sydney FC are going to blink first where the available substitutes are concerned. More news on that later as the Sky Blues look to welcome those substitutes with a 1-0 lead. Brilliant back heel. A really promising move for Sydney FC. And now Middleton.
No one touched it, oi!
The referee's judgment is that it took a touch. It was a rasping drive from the more defensive of the two Middleton twins. Who has, by my count, never scored a senior NPL goal despite having played over 50 times the 20-year-old in the top flight. It's among as close as he has come. So Zinedine Adesanya has come on for Sydney. That's an inviting ball. And a nice lay down for Glasson. Farias. Green shirts. Suffocating the space from left and right, and that defensive shape eventually does enough.
Here, open. Turn around and go.
Fernandez putting the squeeze on the Sky Blues. Now going to see some SD Raiders substitutions. Curious to see who the players are making way for Goran Luboja's side. Michael Marcic is one of the two. Robert Eramugo is the other. Onto the field come Riley Cox-Barlow and Justin Frias. He made his first appearance in the first grade team in NPL New South Wales last week off the bench against St George City in that 3-1 win. Great to see one of the Raiders, another one of the Raiders' young talents coming through. And here he is looking to get involved almost straight away. Cox-Barlow, the other onto the field for appearance number 18 of the year. Frias. It was a tidy turn. Little more. As it was Frias' first NPL New South Wales appearance last week. He has featured at senior level for Raiders in League One. Formerly of Blacktown Spartans as well. France sets on his way. He hasn't quite been in full stride since that knee injury that took him down earlier. He's picked out a man who's got plenty of energy in Tay Headley. Returns the favour to France. On he goes, Marin France. Crossing position for Sydney. France continues the run. No sky blue shirts are found. Glasson. A loser to the weight of numbers that time around. Knezovic. Darts the eyes up. And wanted to reward what was a tantalizing run from Charlie Ragg. But wasn't able to do so. Adesanya. Got to lay claim to one of the best names in NPL New South Wales, Zidane Adesanya. Now, the flag has stayed down here for the Sky Blues and Marin France, but he becomes the latest in a long string of players this evening who have not been able to show the killer instinct that either of the coaches tonight would want. It's a bit loose in midfield from Raiders. Adiancia. Delicate little triangular sequence. Adiancia's early ball, will it fall at the feet of France? I wouldn't have known too much about it when it did. That's risky from Raiders. Headley, not a play you want to give it away to. France. It's inviting. Middleton could make contact with their head, but off a little more. And an easy collection for William Lucas. Letta hitting it clear. Right to the feet of Marin France. Shows a clean pair of heels to one. See how desperately he wants to find that right foot that can fire with devastating effect. Bit static on the left from Sydney FC. Lancaster coming in to try and move the magnets a bit. France's touch showed too much. Headley poking it back to France. It's an awkward one for the SD Raiders defence, but a task to which they are equal. Middleton stretch as he might. Couldn't keep it a sky blue ball. Luckily for him, his twin could. He's had both sides have found the going a little tougher so far in the second 45.
You on, Riley?
Cox Barlow not able to make much of that despite the best of effort and intention. Stole in. The Raiders' case is that their defender got the ball. The referee's assessment is that he did not, and Cooper Hannigan becomes the first player to earn a spot in the book this evening. And that ticket is going to set about a triumvirate of fresh faces for Sydney FC. Junior Conde, Zach Fowler and Dion Negro coming on for the Sky Blues. Mitch Glassen, one of the departing trio alongside Kaylin Marshall-White. Dion Negro, who made headlines a couple of weeks ago. The teenager scoring a 91st minute match winner. And here is a big chance for the substitute Cox Barlow. A brilliant double block by the Sydney FC defence. A rousing high five between Farias and Dyer, who combined wonderfully to thwart the threats. Knezovic. Dyer has the answer again. Flicked on, but no one there to reach it from Letta's header. Familiar tale for SD Raiders this evening. Junior Conde. As mentioned, Negro scoring not on his debut, it's in his third appearance, but his debut goal. Top-notch last-minute match winner at the Wollongong Wolves. And Frias is able to find the angle to support his teammate. It is like Piccadilly Circus on the sideline at the moment. It started with just the solitary sub for Sydney. And now we've seen double sub, triple sub, and SD Raiders are coming back with a double of their own. Lucas for Lockie McGrath. Headley rewards the run of France, pulled back and driven away by the captain James Letta. A real scrap. With Sydney FC possession. Negro. Dyer. Opening does not present. And a bit of relief presents to the SD Raiders defence by way of a rather agricultural challenge from Ethan Dyer. And that will allow assistant coach of the SD Raiders, Jordan Figon, to bring on these additional pieces of fresh firepower. Thomas Santa Rosa and Jakov Malbasa coming on for the Raiders. Jakov Malbasa on the hunt for goal number 5 of the season. Scored away to Rockdale a fortnight ago, the match winner at the Ullenden Sports Centre. 4 of his 6 goals across all competitions this year have come at Ernie Smith. And I would love for him to add to the tally tonight. Negro has a couple of challenges. Quite the fashion. Mickey Middleton didn't make much of the ball he received. Adiancia positioned himself nicely, and there's a bit of trigger happiness on the part of Marin France. And his propensity or appetite for shooting has somewhat fortuitously landed Sydney FC an extra corner. Contested corner amongst these coaching staff, it must be said. It's a flat one, and it's all too easy for the Raiders to deal with. Now, one of the new entrants, Thomas Santa Rosa. We mentioned that as good a form as they have been in SD Raiders, they are stringing together their results without some players who would otherwise be expected to be part of the team. The likes of Lockie Everett, Seb Malfarah, Marky and Ezi Jonathan Sabatu, all absent at the moment. Been a bit of an injury crisis that's broken through the ranks. Doesn't harm their recent form. That was an essential header to get that away from 2 lurking players in green. Jan Frias.
You're on, Riley. You're on, Riley. You're on. Don't stop, man. That ball's telling him he's off. He's not off.
Final 15 minutes. Becken at Ernie Smith. Chance for the winner. Still there for the taking for the side who so desperately would love the points in the quest for finals. The only players in the finals race that would enjoy this result. The other teams in the hunt. You will know that both Sydney and SD might have burned their game in hand or not taken the full value out of it. Only one can do that, and it will help their top 6 tilt no end. McHugh Shaw, the victim of the last touch. Junior Conde all too happy for that to end as a Sydney throw. Cox Barlow. Setting a task down that left flank that SD Raiders' attack were not equal to. Knezovic. Zavadinos able to watch it all the way. These can be awkward ones in soppy conditions. And now Sydney FC want to release the fresh legs of Zach Fowler. He's been their man off the bench in recent weeks. As the Queenslander, it's Zach Fowler still going, and a tap in at the back post for the Sky Blues. The substitutes deliver the desired impact for the visitors, and it's Junior Conde who finishes off the hard work of Zach Fowler. The visitors take the lead with a little over 10 minutes to play in this crucial top six tilt.
Fucking ball watching. Ball watching. Ball watching.
And after 75 minutes of football at Ernie Smith, it is Sydney FC who are finally able to convert all of the scoring promise that either side has offered in this game.
Fucking ball watching. Fucking ball watching. Fucking ball watching. Back post the entire time, man. I've said it a fucking million times today.
It's the first of the season for the 19-year-old Junior Conde. I don't believe he's scored since his trip to King Tom last season. Sydney United won a 3-2 thriller against the Sky Blues. And now there's 15 minutes for SD Raiders to get back into this one. But it's looking Sydney FC more likely at the moment. Ardiancia. Here's William Lucas awake. And Jimmy Van Weeren and his coaching staff, which does include their Ninja A-League head coach, James Slaveski, be very pleased with themselves at the moment because the subs they picked to freshen up that front three, Junior Conde and Zach Fowler combined for the goal. What do SD Raiders have in response? Not much this time around. Firm challenge in from Jet McHugh Shaw, but not to the liking of the referee. It's the second week running where Zach Fowler has come off the bench and made a material impact to the scoreline. It was as the winning scorer last week against Sydney United. So as the assist getter today, that looked to be a pullback on the edge of the box. And the referee saw, as did the assistant referee, exactly what the Sydney FC bench were calling for. It was Zach Fowler who had just slipped his way into the danger zone of that SD Raiders defence. It's a third goal contribution in as many games for Fowler. Scored in that 3-2 win against Wollongong as well when he started. Sydney FC in search of an insurance policy. Headley set piece, drives it in low, and SD Raiders do enough. Farias. Second crack for Farias. That time finds a sky blue shirt in support. Dyer. Really cleverly done up to that point for the Kiwi Youth International. Cox Barlow. Final substitution of the night for SD Raiders. Gordon Luboya signalled it in tonight for Matthew Lee, who's come off fairly gingerly as well. Dongwa has made his way onto the field. He has a clear mission. Go and get a goal to salvage something from this game, or perhaps set up the platform for more. It's a tense finish that awaits at Ernie Smith. And there'll be more hard-in-mouth stuff potentially for SD Raiders. One headed off at the pass by James Letter. Knezovic. Time of the essence now for the hosts. Cox Barlow just left the ball a fraction behind. The varying fortunes of the substitutes have made the difference in this game. Cox Barlow. Robbed of it. Thief-like precision from Aaron France. Ardiancia asking a lot of Tay Headley, who's done a lot of running this evening and isn't able to muster much more that time around. Hannigan. With SD Raiders are wanting to continue their recent solid form, prove that they could be a finals team in their first season. These are the kind of games and situations where they'll have to stand up and show what they're made of. We saw it last week. They were behind for quite some time against St. George City. Managed to turn that around into a 3-1 win and 3 precious points. Malbasa looking to make life difficult for the Sydney FC defence. McGrath. Dongwa. Back to McGrath. Letter. The captain trying to take on the impetus himself. Cox Barlow. Knezovic. It's a nice swing. But short of a willing recipient. Santa Rosa. Hugh Shaw hustled and bustled and intervened in a fashion too hot for the referee's liking. Sydney FC edging closer to a 5th straight game unbeaten. And how unlikely it looked when this run all started, when they lost 6-0 in the Sydney derby to the Wanderers. The Wanderers side that, despite having lost by an aggregate scoreline of 10-0 home and away this year, they on the live ladder, sit 8 points clear of in 5th position. This is a headache-inducing result for Sutherland and the Wollongong Wolves if it holds. Good tracking back by Knezovic. What have SD Raiders got in the tank? Mickey Shaw. Chan Frias. Malbasa caught it in a way that he wouldn't have wanted to. And now Fowler has shown a clean pair of heels to the SD Raiders defence and was so close to pulling off the finish to match. It would have been a goal worthy of sealing the game, but it wasn't to be a third in as many weeks for Zach Fowler. Final substitution of the night. For Sydney FC, it's Marin France, who has toiled all night tonight at some point at personal cost, who's replaced by Ryan Budegag, who's lost his footing but found a very clean pass inside. Sydney hunting in packs. Dion Negro couldn't find an accurate final ball. Negro, we know what he can do in these situations. A big deflection. And all too happy to watch it out of play was Lockie Middleton. That's the slowest run you've ever seen from Tay Headley. In no hurry whatsoever to take the corner, which goes short. Well, there's as clear a sign as any, if you needed it, as to how precious these points are tonight. We've still got 5 minutes of regulation and stoppage time to play. And Sydney FC are already trying to run the ball into the corner. Knezovic. SD Raiders know the odds are against them, but they have proved a lot of people wrong already this season. It's a wicked delivery that flashes past the face. And Cox Barlow will turn on the Jets to keep it alive and then toes the line of acceptability there. Put the ball straight into Jared Middleton. It is an incident that will go without any subsequent sanction. Lubaya was making protests about the amount of meterage gained by Alex Zavadinos, carrying the ball forward from where the free kick actually occurred. Not that it did him much good, straight out of play for a throw. And that is going to really irk those on the SD Raiders bench. The referee has laid down the law. No more of that. How good is that from Zinedine Ardiancia, who goes down. The appeals of Sydney FC unheeded. Yakov Malbasa. Can SD substitutes answer back as the fog sets in at Ernie Smith? Can they emerge from the murk with a goal and a moment to savour? Hannigan's ball. Awkward one for Zavadinos, who sailed high and is rewarded for his bravery with a free kick that takes some much-needed air out of the balloon from a sky blue persuasion. It's the Raiders in attack tonight in the second half. Frustratingly, have just not been able, as yet, to find the gears that the Sky Blues have managed in admittedly the scant few moments that this second half was presented. Not quite as free-flowing in an attacking sense in the 45 that preceded it. The 90 is up at Ernie Smith. 4 minutes added on for SD Raiders to go chasing for another precious NPL New South Wales point. Jan Frias goes down, wins a free kick. And numbers are going to get thrown forward for SD Raiders to pull one out of the fire. One last rear guard for Sydney FC. McHugh Shaw's ball dropped down nicely, but only to the aid of Sydney FC's defensive units. Hannigan. Time of the essence for Goran Luboja's side. Jan Frias. That's enterprising. That's really enterprising. And it's a touch away from something of real promise for SD Raiders. Lockie McGrath at full stretch could not connect with that dipping delivery from Justin Chanfrias. Still a couple of minutes to go. Have Sydney FC done enough for a fifth game unbeaten in NPL New South Wales? It'll be their equal best run of form this season. That is a full stretch and quality piece of defensive intervention from Ham Dong-Hwa. Caution must go into the wind for SD Raiders at this point. Lateral from Letta. McHugh Shaw out wide. The delivery is flat. Sydney FC battening down the hatches. Will this stay in play for Hannigan? It will. Chanfrias couldn't find the avenue. Headley feeds the feed of Fowler. Could he be the Sky Blues finisher again? He's round the challenge of one. SD Raiders having to double back. Fowler fires it across the face, and the touch all important from McHugh Shaw as it fell into the lap of William Lucas. Last roll for SD Raiders. Sydney FC, well, they're trying to head for the corner. They can't do it just yet. It's been terse and tense, this midweek matchup at Ernie Smith. It's been played with a finals feel at points for two teams who are chasing exactly that. No academy side has ever made the postseason in NPL New South Wales. And now they will head for the corner through Negro. No pretenses of a ceiling second now. Into the fog. He heads, and out of it, Sydney FC emerge with 3 precious points. It is Super Sydney FC, 5 games unbeaten as they emerge from Ernie Smith with a goal and a spot in 5th ahead of Sutherland Sharks at the end of this midweek encounter that held its intrigue right to the last. The first 45